For this tutorial, we're going to learn to color correct our images. So because we are going to be performing an edit on a photograph, we're going to open it rather than create a document. So to open an image, we can do one of two things. With Photoshop open, we can go to our menu bar, choose File, and choose Open option. And then from here, we're going to get a window that looks like our Finder. We had saved our image to our desktop, so I can navigate to my desktop, choose that image, and click Open. The other way that we are able to open an image is if we have Photoshop minimized. We can just take that icon or that picture icon and drag it to the Photoshop icon, and it's going to open up our image that way as well. Once we have our image open, this is where we're going to apply our adjustments. So remember, if your Photoshop does not appear like this, if you come to your options bar and you choose this drop-down menu right here, you can come into Click Photography or even Reset Photography, and that will set the workspace to look back normal like this. So as we can see, we have our background layer. And for color correction, what we're going to do is we're going to come to our adjustment panel. Once we're open within our adjustment panel, we're going to come into this icon right here, the second one. This is our levels adjustment layer. So when I click on that, you're going to see that Photoshop has now added an additional layer on top of our background layer. So this is our levels layer. Because we can do multiple edits with our levels layer, we're going to come in and rename that layer. So to rename a layer, we're going to double click on the actual text. Photoshop is very finicky and you have to physically click on the text. If you click far out, it's going to pop up with this other menu. If it pops up with this menu, click cancel, and then just hover over that text again, double click, try again. So we're going to name this color correction. With our layer adjustment properties open, we're going to see that we have our properties here. This is the edit that we are going to be working with. So when we look at our initial levels, we're seeing all of our colors combined here. So that's this RGB. The colors red, green, and blue all together create all of the different colors that we're able to project with images. We don't want to work with all of the colors together. What we're going to do is we're going to change this from the combined RGB to starting with just the red channel. So this information right here in a histogram form is going to pop up and it's going to change according to just the red channel versus the red, green, and blue. To complete color correction, what we're going to do is we're actually going to work with these sliders right underneath this graph, okay? So ignore the bottom part down here. We're going to work with these sliders right here. I'm going to hold Option down on my keyboard, and I'm going to hover over this black slider, and I'm going to click down. I'm going to see that my image fills completely with red. I'm going to drag this slider to the right until I can see just a little bit of black information popping up in my image. You can see if you start to go, you'll see a lot of your image start to pop up. Could be a cool effect, but what we're going for today is just finding a little small bit. So I'm going to see kind of in that center there, we've got some information. So I'm going to now let go of my mouse and let go of Option. So now I've adjusted the black slider. We also need to adjust the white slider. To do that, we're going to come in, we're going to hold Option, and we're going to see that it fills the entire screen with black this time. Now we're going to slide in this one towards the left until we see a small bit of information. So it's going to present itself as red this time. So you can see kind of in the middle there, it's presenting a little bit of red. And I'm once again going to let go of my mouse and let go of Option. Did our red channel. Now we're going to go through and we actually repeat those steps for the green channel. So we click on that drop-down menu and we select the green channel. You're going to see once again that information in this little histogram has changed. And we're going to work with that black and white slider again. So once again, we hold Option on our keyboard. We're going to hold down. We're going to see it fills it with green this time because we're working with our green channel. And we're going to pull until we start to see a little bit of black information. Do note, for each color, you may drag in more or you may drag in less. You might also be presented with a channel that information is already being shown in black at that point. If it is, you just leave that slider where it's at. Come to my white slider. Once again, I'm going to hold Option. I'm going to click on that white slider. I'm going to drag in until I start to see green. You're going to see it's probably going to pop up in a pretty similar area that our last channel did. So just a few dots. Perfect. Let go of the mouse, let go of Option. And I'm going to do my last channel. So I'm going to change it now from green to blue. You can hold Option. We're going to click on that black slider. We're going to drag in until we start to see a little bit of black information. Then we're going to hold down Option and we're going to grab that white slider. We're going to drag in until we see a little bit of blue information. The blue might be a little trickier just because blue on black is a little harder to see. That's why sometimes it's helpful if you do drag too far over to kind of see where it's starting to appear and then watch it disappear until you can only see a small amount. So I'm going to let go. So what I've done is I've gone through and I've adjusted my red, green, and blue layers to make these little sliders down here start where the information actually is presented. So we're going to see now all layers and layer adjustments that we have this little eyeball, and that means that we are seeing that edit being applied. So I can turn that adjustment off and on, and I can see that my original picture actually kind of has a little bit of a blue cast to it. May not have recognized that at the very beginning, but now once I've corrected it and I turn this layer on, I can definitely see in that skull area that I made this look more white and actually a little bit warmer. As any time that we do any type of edit, we always want to make sure that we save that Photoshop format. Reason being is if we accidentally made a mistake, such as sliding one of these sliders in too far and having a really blue image, if we save it as a Photoshop, we're able to open it up and we still have this adjustment layer and we can come in and recorrect that layer. To save our file, we can do File, click Save As. For your tutorial file today, you're going to name it your name _ CCP for color correction practice. We're going to make sure that our format is Photoshop, and we're going to make sure that we know that we're saving it to. So I can see right here that I'm saving this file to my desktop. I'm going to click Save. Pops up with this, that's all right, just click OK. You're going to see that it now has saved the file. If I minimize Photoshop, I can verify, yep, I have my Photoshop document right here on my desktop. If I double click it, it's going to open that file.